Through 3 games of this series, the Utah Jazz were frustrated as nothing seemed to be going their way. But this veteran team wasn't ready to call it quits quite yet. The Blazers were looking for a sweep as they had their game running on nothing but net. Facing elimination in Game 4, the Jazz were not backing down. With the experience of guards John Stockton and Jeff Hornacek, add in a little Olden Polynice, and the Jazz build an 11-point lead. A grand fourth-quarter Blazer effort by Brian Grant, and Rasheed Wallace got Portland back into the effort. But Greg Anthony's three-point attempt with time winding down rimmed out and staved off the sweep. Game 5 coming up next. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a sold-out Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon, where tonight in Game 5 of this best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal, the Portland Trail Blazers hold the lead and the home court advantage as tonight they try to finish off the Utah Jazz. Welcome, everybody, courtside along with Reggie Theus and D. Lynam. I'm Kevin Calabro. Well, Reggie, in games 1 and 2, the Blazers are riding high. They won both those games by 19 and 18 points. So here at home, they've got to be feeling pretty good. But so do the Utah Jazz. They showed some life in Game 4. And who better to get them sparked than the great orchestrator, the all-time assist leader in the NBA, John Stockton.
And what a blast from a bunch of old guys, an emotional outbreak. And that led by John Stockton, 18 points, 13 assists, and only 3 turnovers. That led to some easy buckets in the first quarter, and for the first time in the 4 games, they were ahead after 1. Of course, that also, the uglier the game, the better for the Jazz. They shot 68 free throws for the game, and of course, when you have a bunch of bumping and grinding going on, this is a better situation for the Jazz. The tempo was all in their favor.
And a guy who really mixed it up inside was Olden Polynice for the Jazz. It came up with a big game for them.
Well, as Coach Sloan said, he said he's just a little bit different, Reggie. He said that Olden, most of our guys wear their emotion on the inside. Olden wears it on the outside, and of course, as long as he gives us what he gave us in Game 4, we'll take it. His emotion really spurred us through the whole game, and I thought that was important.
Well, the Portland Trailblazers, when they are their best, it seems to me, it's when Brian Grant is healthy and on the floor, and was he ever in Game 4, but they squandered a great individual effort by the Rasta Monster.
No, the Rasta Monster got it going. He had some big numbers. Scoring was always nice in his presence, but of course, the rebounding and the defense is where he thrives most. Dunleavy said this was pretty much a breakout game for him. That's why he played him so many minutes. But of course, like you said, they did squander away an opportunity on his effort.
The Portland Trailblazers can put the knockout punch on the Utah Jazz. They can knock them out of the ring tonight. Yeah. Who better to do it than a veteran? Which one, though, will it be tonight?
Well, I think it's got to be Scottie Pippen. He showed up in Game 1, had some huge numbers for him, 20 points, and of course, shooting 8 of 14, but in the next 3 games, he was 15 points on 6 of 22. This is the reason. This is the time of year they got Scottie Pippen. This is why he's got the 6 rings. He's got to come out tonight and show these guys how to get it done.
The Portland Trailblazers trying to eliminate the Utah Jazz tonight. Will the knockout punch come here at the Rose Garden? Ernie Johnson rejoins you after the break from Portland. There's a look at the owner of this team, Paul Allen, who has spared no expense with his basketball team. He has added 3 outstanding veterans. Of course, Scottie Pippen, Steve Smith, and Detlef Schrempf. Yeah. And Scottie Pippen, the knockout punch. At the top, we talked about the 6 championship rings. He had 20 points in Game 1, Reggie, in a big fourth quarter. Since then, as you showed at the top, he's been scoring in single figures, not because he hasn't been looking to go to the bucket, because he's taken on more of a playmaker's mentality.
Well, he has a point guard's mentality that has worked for him his whole career. But in games like this, if they're going to win the championship, they got to have Scottie Pippen getting better numbers than he has the last 3 games.
So we are set to go. The timing mechanism is fixed here at the Rose Garden, and the Utah Jazz hope to figure out their problems as they did in Game 4. They solved a lot of mysteries. One of them was spacing in the floor. They had better spacing in their offense, and they had much more confidence in their offense than Jerry Slow. Here's Stockton driving in to Hornacek, off balance, rimming off. Rebound to Sabonis. The outlet pass comes to midcourt. Stoudemire and Pippen operate. That was one other key to Utah's defense, the quick double on the attempt of the post-up in the early post-up particularly. Now here's Pippen. They go back to him again, Reggie.
Well, they talked about the spacing, and one of the reasons that the doubles came so easily, as Scottie was a little more aggressive in this game, the reason the deep double teams came early is because the Blazers' spacing was so poor in Game 4. That allowed the Jazz one player to play 2 players, and that will not happen tonight, as Dunleavy stated to us before the game.
The loose ball foul goes against the Portland Trailblazers. And now the Jazz will bring it into front court. Sabonis tagged with his first foul. Just underway, no score. In low is Russell posting on Steve Smith. Wallace comes to double team. This is Malone, and again, two Blazers run out at him. Sabonis with the off-balance outlet pass through it by Pippen. And he crashes into the scorer's table, tripped up by Brian Russell.
That's a good hustle on both ends right there. Scottie Pippen on the outlet. Sabonis falling down, misread the play. Scottie and Brian Russell just going after it. But you know what? For me, that's a hip check out of bounds. You got to see that early in this game. A lot of fireworks, a lot of talk, a lot of mess in game 4. They don't want that to start off early in this game.
Russell outside with Smith running at it. Rims it short. Sabonis has another defensive rebound. His third already. Look at Pippen with a hesitation dribble drive and the finish with a finger roll. Scottie Pippen. Blazers out on top, score first in this game. They, in the first 3 games, had outscored the Utah Jazz in each of the first quarters of play. But in game 4, it was the Jazz who came out and held the lead after 1.
Scottie Pippen more aggressive offensively in this first quarter. Right there, nice hesitation move, just like a point guard down the pipe into your living room.
14 to shoot as the Jazz bring it in bounds. Ball volleyed by Sabonis, but right back outside to the Jazz and Stockton. 5 to shoot. Here's Stoudemire. He's got Pippen trailing on the left. He'll slash to the glass. Trying to reverse it up. Colonies with a rebound, and the Jazz back on the attack. Smith jabbed it away, but it rolls right to Malone, and he ties it at 2-2 with a jumper from the corner.
Just a little bit of a hesitation move on Stockton's part. Got him 2 more steps inside the paint. That allowed Karl Malone to get wide open for the jump shot. Just so technical, but so sweet.
Wallace comes to the ball side. Malone is on his hip. Rasheed in deep. Extends with a fall-away hopper. Colonies with the rebound. His second.
Very important for the Jazz to end this first quarter in the game. The only time they had a lead in this series was in game 4, where they ended up winning that particular game.
Look at Smith break out on the defensive rebound. In transition down the left side. He's fouled. So Smith, taking it right at John Stockton, will head to the line for 2 shots.
But a team not known for its transition defense. On the last 2 plays, the Jazz really working hard to get back defensively to stop the Blazers in their offense.
Smith has been outstanding from the free throw line. Although in game 4 he was 6 for 9, he is 25 of 28 from the line in the series. Smith garnered 19 points in game 4. And he is one of the many reasons that Jerry Sloan and the Utah Jazz are where they are, down 3 games to 1. It's the Smith post up, the Pippen ability to post, particularly on Hornacek, that has given the Jazz the most problems in this series.
Well, they can attack you in so many different ways, from the perimeter, from the outside. And of course, when you start talking about the defense, is there a better defense in the league than the Blazers man-to-man?
4-2 count. The Portland Trailblazers on top on a couple of Smith free throws. Whistle, and this will go against the home Portland Trailblazers and Rasheed Wallace. And of course, we've chronicled Wallace and his troubles this year. 38 technical fouls during the regular season, an NBA all-time mark, and 5 so far here in the playoffs. Here's Malone on the inbounds. The long cast rimming off. Smith snatches that defensive rebound. The push into front court left side is Scottie Pippen now, handling one-on-one of Malone. They look for Wallace in the back door. Good fronting defense by Russell, Reggie.
Very good. He's changing the position just right there. He's giving them different looks defensively. Very important on the post play. I like the tempo for the Jazz right now. They're getting this game in a semi-half court pace, and that's where they play best at.
Russell fires an off-balance 3 with 15 on the shot clock, but Malone bails him out, jamming the rebound outside to Hornacek. So the Jazz reset. Malone, a pick and slip to the glass, lays it up and in. A classic pick and slip as Malone was left alone into the alley.
You're always so worried about the total pick and roll that anytime they run the second or third option off that, they usually burn you. But you got to have a guy like Stockton on the floor to help that work.
4-4 count. 4 minutes gone by here in the first quarter. Wallace loves that right block. Malone knows it. Malone with great quick hands chops down on the ball and out of bounds.
Right there, the pick, the slip. The defense didn't make the adjustment. A little bit of miscommunication of who was going to take Malone on the slide.
9 on the shot clock for the Blazers as they bring it in bounds. Pippen turns off the Sabonis screen for 3 and knocks it down. So Pippen on a drive and transition, and now a 3 is asserting himself offensively, and the Blazers lead 7-4.
Well, they got to have it. Somebody's got to step up. It's got to be Pippen, in my opinion. The other guys have been playing fairly solid basketball. He's the only one where the numbers could be definitely better.
Stockton is forced to circle wide off the screen, finds Polynice the second option, and he just swerves and hits a gorgeous hook in the mid lane about 10 feet out over Sabonis.
See, one of the reasons I also said that Pippen has to be the guy is because he puts more pressure on Brian Russell. Yeah. Brian Russell gets big numbers for the Jazz. They're in the ball game. If he has to concentrate much on Pippen, that really takes away from his offense.
5 minutes gone by in the first quarter, and Stoudemire working Stockton. First right, now left, lost the handle. Sabonis leans in off balance, missed it. Hornacek up the floor. The Blazers very cognizant of not allowing the Jazz to run. And a tripping foul called.
Jeff Hornacek coming up the court so slow, he actually got in Scotty's way.
Russell 3 of 15 in the series from three-point range, so you have to believe the confidence is waning a little bit.
Shaky. But he's very good at showing you the ball and taking up the distance. That's why you like a guy who's a scorer, not just a pure shooter. Brian Russell doesn't always want to take the jump. He wants to get into the paint, make some things happen, get to the free throw line. In Game 4, he gets 11 free throws. That's huge for this team.
Howard Isley comes into the lineup. The veteran out of Boston College replaces John Stockton. To Smith now, and Polynice showing double team. Smith throws out of it. Pippen with 5 to shoot. Dumps it to Smitty. The turnaround hopper glancing off. Polynice with a rebound. The Jazz have shown very good defensive work in the showing at least a double team.
Well, that's what they learned in Game 4 is that their defense is what's going to carry them. This is a team that usually plays off their offense. When I say that, I mean by the timing, by keeping other teams on defense, but they came out and was more aggressive. I think that added confidence to this team, and they know that this first quarter is pivotal for them.
Smith reaches in, and the foul is on Smith. So Smith will go to the bench with his second foul, and Bonzi Wells now will step in for the Portland Trail Blazers. He's a second-year player at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. As Malone steps to the line for the first of 2. A reminder coming up next on TNT. It's Game 5 between the Suns and the Lakers. The Lakers try to close out the series. They lead it 3-1. And you can bet the Suns aren't going to go quietly.
See, in this game, this deep post-up by Malone causes the Blazers a lot of problems. And as they come for the double team, if the Jazz are able to hit their perimeter shots, it's going to be a problem because they're coming, obviously, tonight very quick on Malone.
Carl splits a pair of free throws. The Jazz lead it 11-9. Portland in the half court. Sabonis and Grant screen high. Pippen off the pick, settles for the jumper and knocks another one down, Reggie. He's 3 for 5 and has 7 points to lead the Blazers.
Well, when you have 6 rings and you know what it's about, you know that this game is real important because you don't want to go back into the Jazz, into the Delta Center. You know what you got last time. You don't want to see that happen. Of course, Karl Malone wants to see something else go on. And I told you, be careful of the guy that talks about being sick before the game.
And Malone answers 3 for 6. Pippen turning up the Sabonis screen, got caught in the air. Stoudemire bails him out, 14 to shoot. Up fake by Pippen, leans in, drops it low to Wells, trapped, brings it outside to Scotty. To the baseline, touch! Again, Pippen answers.
When you know players' body movement, when you understand rhythm, you can see that Scottie Pippen is in a nice rhythm right now. He's not forcing the game. He's taking all of his open shots, something that he doesn't do all the time.
Score tied at 13. Pippen intercepts a cross-court pass. Pippen sprints into the lane, finds the open man. It's Stoudemire twirling it up and in off the window.
And that is that point guard mentality, off the dribble with the right hand down to the lane. Damon Stoudemire for the layup.
2-point Blazer lead. Isley orchestrating at the top. Running along the baseline is Hornacek. Now he comes out off the Polonese screen, circles in, off balance. Hook is good. Sends it up and in over Sabonis. Marvelous move by Hornacek, setting up the youngster Wells on that screen.
I would hate to have to play him in a game of horse. He can shoot it off the wrong foot, leaning to the left or right. It doesn't even matter.
15-15 count. Good first quarter. Pippen again from long range. Off the heel of the iron. Hornacek will take it. Hornacek from LaGrange, Illinois. Played for his father in high school, and off the ball a whistle and a foul called. This goes against the Utah Jazz. The Blazers will take it back after the break. Score tied 15-15. Bonzi Wells on the floor along with Sabonis, Stoudemire, Pippen, and Grant. There's tomorrow Miami and New York heated up again, and we'll have the broadcast for you right here at 8 o'clock on TNT. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge. Along with Reggie Theus and D-Lineham, I'm Kevin Calabro at the Rose Garden. Scottie Pippen has taken on the scoring role for the Blazers here early with 1:57 to go in the first quarter. Bonzi Wells taking it right at Hornacek. And Stoudemire with a tough rebound, ripping it away from Isley. Blazers reset. Stoudemire finds Pippen on the opposite point. Good recovery by Quincy Lewis, but he runs at Pippen and then draws the foul.
Pippen actually baited him in. He backed it up, gave him a little bit of a hesitation to sucker him in to gain space, and then took the step through. Watch him as he steps forward. He comes back like he's going to shoot the jumper because he's been playing well, and the young fella goes for it. Lewis, no chance. The old guy got you.
In low, Sabonis sweeps one up and in. Arvydas Sabonis, who had a monster game in Game 3 at Utah, but was quiet in Game 4 with just 6 points. And he has put the Blazers on top by 2. Isley enters to Malone. Here's Hornacek running by Wells and laying it up and in. So Hornacek attacks the youngster, Bonzi Wells, with a dribble drive to the lane.
It was a smart move because as the defense made its adjustments, Hornacek went into the lane where the slot place was, and that's important because he can shoot that runner.
Wells had 19 points in Game 3 and just took it right at Hornacek. Here's Sabonis coming back with a 15-footer from the left angle. He loves it out there at the angle. And the Blazers on top by 2, 46 seconds to play in the first quarter. Isley trying to find an opening, sets up Hornacek, and Hornacek is on fire here early. He has now dropped 3 for 4. The ball gets away from Wells, and the Jazz will take it.
And Kevin, as we talked about, this tempo really does favor the Jazz. They've only won one other first quarter matchup in this series, and that was the game that they ended up winning. It's very important they're in this game and in the type of flow that they have right now out of this first quarter.
Hornacek has scored the Jazz last 6 points. They lead, or actually are in a tie situation at 19 with 13 seconds left in the quarter. Well, they go back to Hornacek. Doubtful. Pippen's on it. Isley hits a runner in the lane over a double team.
High pick and roll. You always got to worry about it. Isley makes the right choice.
The Jazz on top by 2. Pippen trying to get off the shot. Spiked away from behind by Lewis. So the Utah Jazz come out and serve notice to the Portland Trailblazers that it will not be easy here tonight in Game 5. Scottie Pippen, meantime, has the offense in here with 9, but his ball club trails by 2 at the end of 1 from the Rose Garden.
Yesterday, or early evening yesterday, the Blazers welcomed a new member to their family. Greg Anthony and his wife Crystal had their first child, a healthy baby boy, 7 pounds 15 ounces. Cole Hinton Anthony, his name was actually inspired by a jazz player, not a member of Utah, but a musician, John Coltrane. And as a matter of fact, during labor, they played "A Love Supreme," one of the songs of John Coltrane. Greg told us earlier it was the most amazing experience of his life.
I have never really loved anything that I'd never seen before like that, you know, just as much as I do unconditionally. It was, man, I just couldn't get enough of holding him. My wife had to pry him away from me to feed him. So it was special. It still is, I mean, extremely. And again, I feel very blessed.
And here's the proud papa to the baseline. It's Greg Anthony with that teardrop runner. Deflected out. Here come the Jazz galloping. Lewis slides into the gap and lays it home. Quincy Lewis putting the Utah Jazz on top 25-22.
The Jazz getting more fast break opportunities because their defense has been more solid, forcing the Blazers to take some of the shots that they don't necessarily want to take this point in the game.
Schrempf is in with Smith, and now Wallace. Grant and Anthony. Wallace drop steps to the baseline, drew the bump, score the bucket, and Wallace will head to the line.
And see, that's the first solid offensive one-on-one play we've seen. Now, this is a one-on-one type of team right here. The drop step spin with the nice angle off the glass. That is Wallace's game.
Stockton comes in to get Jacques Vaughn at the 8:33 mark here in the second period with Reggie Theus and D-line and Kevin Calabro at the Rose Garden. The Jazz out on top by 1. Wallace steps up in the playoffs, averaging 14 points and 6 rebounds. Tied at 25. Thus far, the Jazz have controlled the agenda, the tempo in this game. Anthony makes contact with Stockton as they clear the 10-second line. The first foul on Anthony.
The one thing you know about the Jazz, they're not going to vary from their game plan. Their game plan is obviously to ugly the game up as much as possible, keep it in the tempo that it's at right now, and not to veer from that.
Lewis has an open look, but missed it with 13 on the shot clock. Anthony will bring it down. Smith trying to get open in the embrace of Isley, and a foul on Howard Isley. There were 68 free throws attempted between the two teams in Game 4, 34 apiece, and 17 fouls called in that game, and that's what the Jazz would prefer to do in this game, number 5.
And Kevin, in a way, that is also controlling the tempo. Every time you shoot free throws, obviously the game stops. You have to walk it up the court. There are no fast break opportunities for the Blazers.
Here's Isley again, holding in low on Smith. A cross screen set on the baseline, and Isley just grabbed Smith. That's the second quick one on Howard Isley. Steve Smith in his playoff career, Miami, Atlanta, averaging 19 points per. He's a big-time playoff player. And, of course, is a sensational gentleman off the floor as well. Coming up next, it's Game 5 between the Suns and the Lakers as the Lakers try to close out that series. Then tomorrow night, Game 5 in Miami between the Knicks and the Heat. Game time, 8 p.m. on TNT. Smith knocks down a couple. The Blazers lead by 2.
This second unit getting some valuable time in here in the second quarter. Carmelo out of the game, not feeling well. The start of his basketball game. This is some big minutes for this second unit.
Isley crosses over, a little right-hand hopper. Schrempf for the rebound. One dribble, quick outlet pass. Here's Anthony. But again, the Jazz fill the passing lanes. And so the Blazers have to go to the half-court offense. Smith has the advantage on Isley, 6'8" on 6'2". Repost, nice pass to the cutter from the opposite side. It's Brian Grant with the dreadlocks flowing in the wind. A two-hand delivery by Grant.
Monster dunk on the inside, filling the lane, getting in the gap. Nice ball movement, Grant getting back into form. Take advantage of it. Smitty with a nice pass. Grant showing you, get the dreads in your face and the dunk in your mug.
Jazz bringing it bounds after the timeout. Stockton to Russell. Malone from the corner. This is Anthony darting by Isley out of backcourt.
Again, the Jazz doing a great job of getting back defensively.
They missed Schrempf on the trail, and he misses an easy 3. Or a wide open 3, I should say. Stockton coming back. He's left alone, and he misses one short. Nothing easy about any of these shots in playoff basketball. Here's Smith coming off the screen. Set by Grant. Grant in 8 minutes was scoreless and didn't have a rebound, but he has picked up the pace here in the second period, Reggie, and it's shown at times to be the advantage for the Blazers.
Well, you hear the crowd reaction to it. Brian Grant is an inspirational kind of guy. When you come in and you get that type of dunk, you get that kind of effort offensively in the paint, and then you get the defense, it's really something big for the Blazers.
Blazers just don't have the continuity to their offense that we saw in the first 3 games.
And that's because the Jazz have really contained the tempo of this game. In the first 3 games, there was no tempo for the Jazz at all. It was all Blazers. They had them going. They made the Jazz shoot poorly because they were doubling them and making them shoot long jumpers. Right now, you see they're patient. They're taking their time. They're getting back defensively. They're not allowing the Blazers to get any easy buckets.
8 to shoot as Hornacek is coming now for Isley. Hornacek gets off the quick snapshot, won't go. Grant has the rebound.
See, the last 2 times down, the Jazz have had to take these long, ill-advised jump shots. That gives the Blazers a chance to really up this lead by more.
They go to Smith, ISO'd on the post-up on Hornacek. The Jazz show triple team, and then recover with Stockton running out at Anthony on a missed 3. Jazz have just, night and day between game 3 and 4 defensively, and now here tonight in this first half against the Blazers. A much more aggressive basketball team.
Even when you're down, you get confidence when you get a win. And that's what's happening here. They found that they could play with this team. This team had them down, should have gone on and stepped on them. But now they've given them life. They're giving them a chance to get inside and play their kind of basketball game. I don't see the Blazers roughing up anybody. I don't see them coming out putting on any type of defensive thrust. There's nothing happening in this game from a Blazers perspective when you look at the way they played first 3 games in their last 2 games.
Russell hits his first bucket of the night, a 3-pointer. The Jazz are within 1, and then illegal defense. A warning called on the Jazz.
Stockton on the pick and roll, always a threat to turn the corner, but right there when you got a guy that's been struggling from threes, it's hit 2 tonight, you got to get it to him.
Pippen is back in, Shrimp goes to the bench. Pippen looking to enter, does to Wallace, doubled. Anthony to Pippen for the open 3, good ball movement that they cannot cash in. The Blazers having difficulty here at home shooting the ball, 34%.
That's a tough shot for Pippen. He's been sitting on the bench for a while. You come in and shoot a 3 right off the bat and run up and down the court a couple of times.
Russell tentatively sends one up and in. He was straddling the 3-point arc, but he made adjustments in midair. And Russell now with back-to-back jumpers has given the Jazz the lead at 30-29. Graham maneuvers along the baseline trying to shed Polynice. Gets the ball, but he's pushed outside. Polynice rattles it free. Loose ball grabbed by Russell, and the Jazz are on the march. Stockton.
Why not?
To Malone, to Russell for the 3, and Russell has cashed in 3 consecutive jumpers. 2 have been 3s, and the Jazz lead by 4, 33-29.
Why not? When you got the ball movement that you need, you got the defense on the other end. Of course, Malone with the 1 more assist to add to his repertoire of things. Brian Russell showing he can still shoot it from deep. 8-0 run led by Brian Russell.
And here in Portland, the Utah Jazz behind Brian Russell's 8 consecutive points lead at 33-29. Russell and the Jazz have been waiting for him to break out of his shooting slump here in the playoffs. Field goals in the quarter. Portland Trailblazers 3 for 12 here at home, and the Jazz 5 of 16. So the Jazz getting shots. And they have not turned the ball over in the second quarter, which is key. This is the 4th turnover, however, on the Blazers in the period as Pippen's entry pass to Wallace goes airborne and out of bounds.
But there's really no reason for them to turn the ball over tonight because the Blazers aren't really getting any perimeter defense. They're double teaming flag, and of course, we talk about it, here comes one. But
Malone is quick to respond as Anthony drives into the lane. Malone spikes the ball away from behind. Stockton stumbles into the row of photographers. He's all right.
The Jazz doing a great job tonight getting back defensively. The transition, look at Malone kind of doing a pirouette to get that block and saved an easy bucket for the Blazers.
Anthony is 0 for 4. Stoudemire has not been shooting the ball particularly well. 1 for 3. Here's Savaris. Sways with that hook. He brought that thing up from the belt buckle.
Hey, and if he was a boxer, we'd call him haymaker.
It was that. 33-31. Jazz lead trimmed to 2. They bring Sabonis out to double the ball on the point. On Stockton, it worked. Wallace steps in front of Polonese. Here's Stoudemire. The Blazers seem to be in a hurry with their offense, Reggie. The spacing hasn't been particularly good, as it was not in Game 4, which allows Utah to play a better brand of defense.
It's the one thing that Dunleavy talked about was the one adjustment that had to be made tonight was the spacing. And obviously tonight not getting the job done. The last 2 times defensively, though, doing a good job on the post defense.
10 to shoot for the Blazers as they bring it in bounds. Wallace is doubled to Stoudemire. Super up fake. Polonese steps out. That leaves Sabonis open, but he missed it. Rebound spiked by Wallace. Pippen scampers after it.
Nice recognition. Wallace seeing Scottie Pippen guarded by John Stockton. Told him to get in the post.
Well, Russell comes to double, and they drive Pippen out of there. And that leaves Smith for a three-pointer, and it rims off. Again, the Jazz shut down the Blazers.
Good recognition all over the floor. The offense seeing the mismatch, and then the defense noticing that they have to help out their teammate.
Hornacek off that one good leg, missing. Malone with a hustle play, but saves it right to Stoudemire. Blazers have numbers. Pippen from the corner. An air ball 3 with 17 to shoot, 5 on 4. That's the way the Blazers offense has gone here in the first half. Russell leans in on the run. Wouldn't go. Deflected last by Sabonis. Jazz basketball.
Both teams tonight seem like they're a step slower to me. It may sound strange if you're a Jazz fan, but both teams seem like they're running a little bit slow.
Here's Stockton at the age of 38. He's got an excuse. He's knocked down by Wallace. Hard foul applied by Rasheed Wallace.
See, if you say that to a Jazz person, they say, no, we're just under control. Right here, John Stockton going to the hole hard. They make him pay. Sometimes that's what you have to do to a real guy who goes to the hole like that. You got to show him the lights.
Well, they're going to assess the foul to Stoudemire, but it was Wallace who put the finishing touches on Stockton. As you say, Reggie, showed him the lights. Stockton hits the free throw. Coming up on the AT&T halftime report, Bucks head coach George Karl joins E.J. Kenny, the Jet, and Peter Vesey in studio. They'll break down the first half of our game and preview Game 5 between the Suns and the Lakers. George Karl in the house tonight. That should be interesting. George always has some very interesting perspectives on the game of basketball. 35-31 our score here with 1:50 left in the first half, and the Jazz on top by 4. Pippen straddles the three-point arc, met by Russell. 4 to shoot. Sabonis back to Scott. He's got no choice. That rim short. Malone with a rebound. And the shooting woes of the Blazers continue. 32% here at home, while the Jazz are shooting at 40%.
Well, you can call it shooting woes, but I think the Jazz are playing excellent defense.
Oh, man.
Stopping the Blazers from getting any type of rhythm offensively, especially in the half-court situation. And then, when you look at Brian Russell, he's coming down. He's on fire out there.
You better find this kid from San Bernardino, California, Long Beach State, Brian Russell.
Somebody better guard him.
Pippen knocks down the jumper. Well, Pippen finally breaks the ice. 5 of 12, 11 points for Scotty. 4-point lead for the Utah Jazz. A minute left here in the first half. Russell enters to Polonese, the jump hook up and in. Anything Polonese gives you out there on the floor from the offensive standpoint is icing. He has given the Jazz 7 rebounds in 21 minutes and has 2 field goals.
Well, you know what he's giving him? He's giving him a presence in the middle. He's giving him somebody that's not afraid to put a body on somebody and show that he loves to play this game. Another unforced turnover.
Poor communication between Smith and Pippen. Both were pointing at each other. As Smith tried to drive, draw, and kick, and instead threw it out of bounds. And that is the 8th turnover on the Portland Trail Blazers. Shrimp will come in now for Smith at the 35-second mark here of the second quarter. Stockton glances at the clock. Malone turns off the screen. Stockton drives to the baseline. It's poked away by Arvydas Sabonis. Jazz by 6, their largest lead of the game with possession. 27 seconds remaining to play in the first half.
Utah shooting 3 of 5 from long range. Portland 1 of 9.
12 to shoot. Colony's will. Guides that one up, rimmed it. Malone with a putback up and in. Malone with seconds. Karl has been quiet. 9.6 rebounds, 4 of 8 in 21 minutes of play. The Jazz have done a great job to balance their offense and now have an 8-point lead.
Even that shot by Polynice, he had to take the shot, but he shoots the ball. It bounces perfectly to Karl Malone.
Sabonis tied up with 3 seconds left in the half, and it was Polynice to reach in to get a piece of the ball. And the Utah Jazz have totally taken the crowd out of this game. It is quiet in the Rose Garden here in Portland. And a 20-second timeout now called by the Portland Trailblazers. Well, if the Utah Jazz, Reggie, I know what you try to do. Continue along the same course. If you're Mike Dunn leaving the Blazers, though, in the second half, there've got to be some adjustments made. What can you do to get more continuity into your offense?
Well, when you start talking about what they have to do from their offensive standpoint, I think you start with their defense. This is a defensive team. I know Dunleavy time and time again says that we are a defensive-oriented team. Our defense has to be established first. Obviously, that has not happened this far in the first half.
Take a look at what the Jazz has done defensively in the first 3 games. They allowed the Blazers to do just about anything they wanted. They were giving up 100 points, 48% shooting. They weren't forcing turnovers, but in game 4, they forced turnovers. They limited the Portland Trailblazers' opportunities and held them to 85 points in the win.
Well, the biggest thing here, if you start looking at what has happened from a stat standpoint, points in the paint. The Blazers, 148 points in this series to 114. That's minus 34 for the Jazz. And second chance points, 69 second chance points to 35 for the Jazz. That's also a minus 34 points for the team. Tonight, it's all even. In game 4, those categories, all even. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the tempo of the game is in the Jazz favor, and the Jazz have tightened up defensively, and they're playing stronger middle basketball.
Jazz and Blazers have tied on the rebounding chart at 22 apiece. Here's the tip with 3 seconds left in the half, and the rookie, Scott Padgett, recording his first moments in game 5, comes away with the rebound. So that ends the game here in the first half. And the crowd with mixed reviews for the Blazers, who right now are down 8 here at home. Let's send it over to D-Lineup.
Brian, confidence can do wonders for a team, but what's been the biggest difference of your performance here as a group compared to the first 2 games you were here?
I just came out aggressive. I picked up 2 early fouls, which caused me to go to the bench, but the coach put me back in, and I stayed aggressive, and that's what happened when you stay aggressive.
As a team, you've managed to set the tempo. Is that key in the second half to continue to have that slower game that you guys have?
Yeah, it's key for us to keep it up and put the pressure on them because they're at home. We don't have anything to lose.
Good luck to you in the second half, Brian. Kevin?
Thank you, Dave. Brian Russell with 10 points leading the Utah Jazz to an 8-point lead as the Blazers struggle with 33% shooting. Ernie Johnson and company rejoin you after the break from Portland. At halftime, back in Atlanta, we're talking about Rasheed Wallace. In 15 minutes, 3 points, and did not have a rebound. He certainly has got to bring something to the table. And you see his reaction when Sabonis throws a pass ankle high off his feet and out of bounds for the 10th Blazer turnover. So the Blazers start the third quarter with a horrible pass thrown by Sabonis to an upset Rasheed Wallace. Now they pressure the Utah Jazz 94 feet.
See, when you look at the game, you can say that the Blazers are shooting poorly or whatever you want to say, but it's the defense of the Jazz. The Portland Trailblazers have not been able to get any easy baskets. Everything has been contested, and obviously with the outside shooting of Russell, it really does help the inside game.
Wallace with the block. Pippen brings it up the floor. He had an easy pass ahead to Wallace. As he was bringing it up, he lost the handle. He was able to grab it, spin away, find Wallace for the jam. But Wallace is signaling now to the Blazer bench. He needs a sub because I think he might have rolled the ankle.
Well, it looked like he came down awkward on his leg. I don't know if he's reaching for his knee or his ankle, but he's not feeling good right now at all.
20-second timeout called by the Blazers as Wallace comes limping over to the bench.
Now, when you look at this play, watch when he lands. Look at his ankle. Watch his ankles down low. Maybe a little bit of a roll there, maybe a little bit of a twist on the knee. I thought it just an awkward position to land on. It looks like he grabbed at his knee to me.
So presumably with Wallace out, they'll bring Brian Grant in. And Grant had a slow start in his first 8 minutes of the first quarter. He did not have a rebound. He finished with 2 points, 3 boards.
And here's a huge problem for this team, because it's always been a struggle for them to figure out who is going to be their guy down the stretch of games. If this game is close, who's their go-to guy? Who's the guy that's going to look to take the offense over? This is something that I'm sure that Scottie Pippen has got to think about. Brian Grant has got to get his offensive game going. He is doing nothing but a donut tonight after having a great game in Game 4.
Blazers down 8. Pippen on the post. Beautiful jump hook up over Russell. Pippen cuts the Jazz lead to 6. He's 6 of 13 and has 13 points. Crowd back into the game here initially. Here's the lob over the top. Good reaction by Grant to reach in, get a piece of it. Malone picks it up nonchalantly. Sabonis spikes the shot. And a foul called on the baseline and against the Portland Trailblazers.
And Sabonis blocked Karl Malone's shot without even flat-footed. A lot of action down low. 2 big power forwards going elbows and forearms down low, but that is just a little bit of a body roll. I don't know how the referee calls that when everybody's going for the ball.
Foul on Grant is his second, Reggie.
Incidental contact.
Malone had 11 attempts in Game 4. And this evening is at the line for just the 3rd time. 3rd and 4th attempts of the game by Malone.
Well, you know, as long as the Jazz can keep the Trailblazers from having any easy baskets and keep this game somewhere in the 80s, they have a real shot at winning this ball game.
Malone had 27 points in the win in Game 4. He started off the 99-2000 playoffs against the Seattle Sonics with 50 points in Game 1. Was totally unstoppable and dominated the game. He hits 2 free throws here, 45-38. Malone has picked his opportunities carefully here in Game 5. The Jazz fighting for their playoff lives, and a foul's called on Utah as Grant explodes to the middle. And the mailman picking up just his first foul of the game.
The one thing the Jazz does not want to do is do anything to wake the Blazers up.
That's right.
You want to keep this game, you're going to keep this giant sleep for as long as you can.
Stoudemire into the lane over Polonese rimming off. Malone has the rebound. Jazz methodically set up the half-court offense. Cross-court pass. Russell met by Pippen. Hornacek has an opening. A little bit of daylight. He'll use you. That one horseshoes out. Grant with the rebound. Jazz by 8. Pippen drops it to Smitty.
Good move.
Count the bucket. He's hacked. Smith goes to the line.
Scottie Pippen is so unselfish. He has the 18-foot jumper at the top of the key. He sees and recognizes the mismatch down low. Right here, could elevate, could shoot it, but no. The dump down, the best pass in basketball, and Smitty with the and one.
Hornacek with his second foul. Here's Smith to the line, who came into this evening's game having hit 25 of his previous 28 free throw attempts in the series against Utah. The Blazers have been to the line just 6 times previous to this attempt, and they have hit all 6. Smith has pulled the Portland Trailblazers to within 5.
This is a crucial time of the game.
Stockton dribbles right to Stoudemire, but Malone picks up the loose ball. Grabbing foul called on the Blazers. Listen to D-line him.
Rasheed Wallace is still in the locker room, Kevin, but he bruised his left quad. He will return, so he is going to be able to keep playing here tonight, and the Blazers sure could use him.
Thank you, D. Yeah, they could have used him in the first half. 15 minutes. Did not have a rebound. Had 3 points and 3 attempts.
Certainly not the type of game that he expected to come out and have.
Malone steps out off the screen, rumbles to the baseline, and the big 18-wheeler bringing home the freight. Malone is fouled, and he heads to the line. And you kind of wonder, Reggie, the way he's paced himself when Malone turns it on, because here's a guy that can just score in bunches.
Well, when you look at it, 6 bags of mail coming right at you, and the N1. Good point on the pacing. He said before the game that he wasn't feeling well. He's an old KG veteran. He's going to pick and choose his moment when he's going to be aggressive. But of course, the one thing that you know he's going to do is stay solid. The defense, he's going to make the easy ones and just keep this team going.
Jazz lead by 7. Pippen tried to enter, jabbed away by Russell. Pippen regroups. This is Grant throwing out of the double team. The extra pass out of the double team, but look at the Jazz rotate to it.
The extra pass allowed them to get back into the defensive situation. That was great defensive rotation for the Jazz.
Hornacek finds the open man. It's John Stockton, and he drills the jumper along the baseline. And the Jazz are operating up by 9 with 9 minutes remaining in this third period of play.
And I always question the Blazers' ability to handle adversity.
Pippen drives into the lane, and he has picked up the mantle now as the savior, 7 of 14. 15 points for Pippen with a difficult drive. Two-man play, ISO left side. Stockton off the Malone screen. Malone steps out, he's open. Sabonis closes out. Malone flings it over him. Pippen with a rebound. Down 7, Pippen sprints into front court. He didn't believe that was going in. He threw that one up tentatively. And here come the Jazz. The no-look. Stockton to Malone. Up and in with the left hand.
Oh, he faked the whole crew out on the floor. From 25 feet, he throws the no-look pass. Just with the nonchalant attitude of John Stockton. Knew when he crossed half court what he was going to do with the basketball.
Stockton with his 5th assist. Malone now operating with 15 points. And the Jazz are going to be very difficult to put away tonight. Sabonis scores on a drop step to the baseline. He got up and under Polonese. 7-point lead for the Jazz.
And one of the only 2 or 3 times we've seen someone on the post make a move and get a good shot.
Stockton front court left, out in front of his own bench. Trying to break down Stoudemire. Again, a no-look. Inside of Polonese. Spiked by Pippen. Grabbed by Malone. His shot won't fall. Here come the Blazers. Pippen walks into the lane.
Trying desperately to get this tempo up, but when you look at John Stockton, look how he was looking away. And Karl Malone, as he crossed half court, you know when they made the eye contact. The eye contact came at half court.
That's right.
And that's why he knew his man was going to be wide open. All I got to do now is just lull everybody to sleep and let the big fella handle it.
How many times in their career? How many times?
He makes it look so easy.
The all-time NBA assist leader Stockton drifting into the corner. Outside the mailman.
Jerry Sloan saying that his team had to have the energy and the effort tonight, and I think so far in 3 quarters he's getting it.
Look at Hornacek, right through traffic, but 3 seconds to the lane, whistle on the Jazz. They thought Horny was going to stop and take that shot. Utah leads Portland by 7 with 6:56 remaining in the third quarter of Game 5. Take a look at the American Express leaderboard. Down 0-3 to force a Game 6. Only 7 teams in the history of the NBA have been able to do that. We have 2 teams poised to do it tonight. One here, of course, in Portland, and the other, the Phoenix Suns, down 3 games to 1 to the Los Angeles Lakers. Rasheed Wallace is back and on the bench for the Portland Trailblazers, and now is in the lineup for the Blazers. Down 7 with possession. Wallace extends the ball away from the body. Malone taps it away. 13 to shoot. Wallace retreats to get it. Pippen with 15 points, leading the Blazers in scoring, trying to break free of Russell. Finds Stoudemire for a 3. In it goes. Damon Stoudemire with a well-timed shot there.
That's a big basket for this team. Would have been another missed opportunity for the Blazers, and another great defensive set for the Jazz, making them end up taking a long jumper to get the bucket.
4-point lead. Utah handles. They're looking to go to Malone. Wallace plays tight defense. Here's Malone, double team, shovels it to Polonese, diving down the weak side of the lane, is fouled by Sabonis. Score the bucket for Olden Polonese, and an outstanding find out of the double team by Malone.
When you look at Olden Polonese, you never expect him to go offense on you. Right here, as the pass out, look at Hornacek in the corner. Pippen is more worried about him, forgets about Polonese, and Polonese makes him pay.
And then he banks in the free throw, Reggie.
That's a bad sign.
Polonese was 7 and 7. And it's a 7-point lead for Utah again. 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. Stoudemire in deep. Sabonis with a reverse foul. He'll have to earn him at the line.
Second game in a row. Ostertag sitting on the bench, not even breaking a sweat. Never taken off of his warm-ups because Polonese is handling the middle. And of course, Jerry Sloan told us before the game that as long as Polonese has given him the effort and the emotion, he's not going to go back to Greg. He said Greg is not a guy that we count on in big games, which is the way they've always played, but it's also a slam on a guy who's making an awful lot of money.
They play small a lot. They had in the past, and they had Shannon Anderson with Brian Russell and with Karl Malone going to the 5 spot. And of course, Hornacek and Stockton complementing the lineup. Here's Sabonis splitting a pair of free throws, and it's a 6-point lead now for the Jazz. Stockton is picked up at half court by Stoudemire. Stockton has a height advantage on Stoudemire, don't forget, and that is not meaningless. That means he can enter the ball and pick his spots and has great vision of the floor. Now they put Pippen at 6'8" on Stockton in the corner to Malone, and he hits the jumper. Karl Malone operating now with 17 points.
So as a coach, you know Dunleavy went inside at halftime and says, you guys are not playing any defense. Rasheed Wallace, nice inside move. They come out, you can see the energy level has picked up for the Blazers, but what has happened? They played 2 quarters and allowed the Jazz to feel like they can win this basketball game. So now the defense doesn't mean anything.
Polonese sends up a knuckleball. Sabonis with a rebound. A moment ago, one of the few points that the Blazers have scored in the paint from their half-court offense.
Matter of fact, only the 3rd or 4th time in this whole ball game, whereas they have dominated the middle in the previous basketball game.
Pippen is double teamed. The Jazz aggressively pursue him, and he's forced into an off-balance jumper. Malone with an outstanding hustle play. Saves it, spikes it, and now the Jazz will control it, leading by 6.
You can never underestimate this type of effort. Karl Malone not feeling well tonight, not playing particularly great basketball, but always willing to put his body on the line. Just outworks him and then smacks him with the basketball.
And he's always willing to put his body on the fans. If you notice that about Malone, he must lead the league in cushioning falls for the fans.
If you had your choice to land on a soft-bodied fan or the floor, what would you go for?
And there are a lot of soft bodies down there on Media Row.
A lot of beer drinkers out there.
A lot of donut eaters before the game. Here's Stockton working the point, covered by Stoudemire. 13 to shoot. Malone slips the pick, intercepted by Pippen. He's got a crowd with him. Fakes the pass, drives in, a tough shot, sneaks by Russell for the lay-in. 4-point lead. Russell breaks free in the front court right side. Pippen trying to force his hand.
And finally, the crowd enters the building. Oh, that was Karl Malone. He just readjusts his neck. That's what it feels like when the mailman hits you.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Russell heads to the line. Russell, 2nd-round pick out of Long Beach State, California. The Jazz always seem to come up with a gem in the 2nd round or low 1st round. They polish him, they work him into the system.
And he's really earned his way. He had a hard way to go. Jerry Sloan's not an easy guy to break in with, but once you gain his confidence, he's a friend for life.
Russell, 2 free throws through. He has 12. Pippen pushes Russell. Contact is made. Russell had not had set position, says Teddy Bernhardt. The foul is called against Russell.
See, in this ball game, if I'm playing and I'm Scottie Pippen, I have to go at Brian Russell. I have to be aggressive out on the floor. Seeing that nobody from an offensive perspective is really getting into the rhythm, you got to be able to create not only shots for yourself, but as long as he's aggressive with his ability to pass the basketball, he can get shots for other players.
Kick ball, the call. They were trying to go to Smith, Reggie. You're talking about guys that have not been able to get their offense flowing. Smith, 2 for 4, just 4 attempts. He has hit 5 of 5 at the line.
And only a couple of opportunities down on the low block right there.
There he turns into Hornacek, and a foul is called on the floor.
So you look at that, that's a good foul. You don't let Smitty get into any rhythm. You don't let him hit a shot, make him earn it from the line. Of course, Hornacek, that's his 3rd foul, but I think it's a well-planned foul in the 3rd quarter here with Smitty not playing well.
Now you look for trends and tendencies that might carry over to the 4th quarter. I would think that's where the Blazers want to go. Right here to this man, Steve Smith. Get him some opportunities, ISO him, as they have so successfully in the first 3 games of this series, but have failed to do it tonight.
You got to get him some touches, and that's big.
Coming up next, Game 5 between the Suns and the Lakers. The Lakers try to close out that series. Then tomorrow night, it's Game 5 in Miami between the Knicks and the Heat. Game time, 8 p.m. on TNT. And you can bet the Suns are standing by right now and rapt attention to this game, thinking of the possibilities of how they could rock the Lakers world in Game 5.
Well, just like the Blazers, the Suns have gained some confidence. They had the Lakers down in their building in this playoff series, so they feel that they can play with them. They just got no answer for Shaq.
Jazz lead is at 5 with the leather. Here's Malone blasting to the middle. Polynice across the middle with a rebound. And then Wallace blocks the shot and fouls Olden Polynice.
Polynice with the big offensive rebound. Game 4, he had 6 offensive boards along with his big rebounds.
Well, they're going to call the foul on Pippen. It is the 4th foul on Pippen, not on Wallace. Portland Trailblazers per game average this series, 33 free throws attempted. But at the line, their action has been curtailed with 11 free throws attempted tonight. Look at the series, 25 of 33 they have averaged per game, but just the 11 attempts tonight and the made 9 of the Blazers.
From a coaching's perspective, I really like what Jerry Sloan has done tonight. Shortening the game, shrinking the clock. I love all those things because that's the way they've kept this tempo in their favor.
Jazz by 6 as Polynice splits a pair. Curling off the screen, Smith into the lane, over to Shrimp. A nice little circle hook over Polynice up and in.
And they got to get some point production from their bench. Portland's bench averages 33 points a game so far tonight. Only got like 4.
4-point lead for the Jazz. Isley sets up the floor with Malone to screen high, 10 to shoot. Russell. Wallace couldn't handle it. Polynice couldn't handle it. Portland can cut it to 2. Jump ball, Isley and Stoudemire.
See, Kevin, these are the areas where the Jazz have done so well tonight. You see how good they were in the transition defense. And, of course, when you look at what happened, it ends up in a jump ball. You got to have that kind of effort going into the 4th quarter.
Welcome back to Portland, Oregon. The playoffs continue with Game 5 and a great one here tonight at the Rose Garden. The Utah Jazz have Portland on the ropes, leading by 4 with 2:45 left in the 3rd quarter. Let's send it courtside to D-Lineham.
Well, Kevin, you know, Jerry Sloan likes to cut right to the chase. He told his guys in that last timeout, don't want to hurt your feelings, but you're starting to hang around a little too much, and you're starting to try to outscore them. Make stops, and then scoring comes more easily. He reminded them that that's how they try to win the first 3 games, by outscoring them. Defense won it for them in Game 4.
Right now, the Blazers walking down the Jazz. Utah had a 9-point lead at 51-42. Stoudemire nails another 3, his 2nd of the quarter. And the Blazers are back in business, Reggie. They've come from 9 back to pull within 1.
And what D was talking about, Jerry Sloan saying, that is how they kept the tempo down. You open this game up, you're going to be in trouble if you're the Jazz. If you're the Blazers, you want to keep the defensive pressure on. Try to get the Jazz into a little bit of up-tempo, try to outscore you kind of game, because that's where they're going to thrive.
The mailman's gone cold. That jumper rimming and deflected out. It will be Utah ball.
Damon Stoudemire on the drive and kick, the best play in basketball. I love that action. Smitty with a nice play. Makes everybody honor him, and then Damon finishes it off from deep.
Two-shot foul on the inbounds. A foul called. This is on Damon. And it is the third on Stoudemire. Isley shoots two. Stoudemire has given the Blazers that blast that they've needed with the well-timed three-pointers.
They have been shooting so poorly from the perimeter. Nothing on the inside, and then the swarming defense of the Jazz not allowing anyone to connect from deep. Damon Stoudemire twice in this quarter has hit him from long range.
Bring it ahead. Collective gasp here at the Rose Garden when he missed a shot. Lewis in the corner. Getting him back in now for the Jazz for the remaining minute and a half. Armin going lefty. Wallace spikes it. Isley with a great save. Loose ball. Shrimp is upended by Isley. And now Detlef will come the other way to shoot two.
That's one of the things that Jerry Sloan was talking about. You have plenty of time on the clock. You've been playing a patient game. It's 1.5 passes, and then you're going one-on-one down low against 1-on-3. Those are the kind of things that Jerry doesn't want to see. Ball movement, cuts, the second, third option. That is how they run time off the clock and get their good shots. And some of that has to fall on Isley's back because he is the point guard at this point.
Detlef steps up and uncorks the free throw. Big acquisition by the Portland Trailblazers in the offseason. Detlef Shrimp. Of course, had finals experience in '96 against the Chicago Bulls when he played for the Seattle Sonics. Shrimp's second free throw. This is in Malone. Grabs the rebound. And the Blazers once again are on the doorstep, down two. The Jazz have possession with 1:21 remaining in the third. Here's Malone on Grant. Hornacek curling, lost the handle, but Gilliam races after the loose ball. 8 to shoot. Hornacek, best in the business at circus shots, misses this one. Stoudemire throwing that one out in front for Smith and overthrown out of bounds. Carl Lewis couldn't have caught up with that one.
Kevin, you know, it's funny. Every time Hornacek goes to the hole like that, you know he's getting ready to throw up some crazy shot. You almost think it's going to go in almost every time.
That time a fan took a pretty good shot. Paul Allen, the owner of the team, comes over to attend to her. Looks like she's going to be all right. Here's Isley with it, working the half court. 9 to shoot for Isley. Throws a pass in a crowd. Gilliam was lucky to catch that one. He's upended and a foul called. Jazz got a break there. Foul is on Smith. That's his third.
This team that's out there for the Jazz right now is a little bit more energy level team. They can get away with a little more up-tempo basketball. But this is also a team that is a little more mistake prone.
That's Paul Allen's mama. I think she's all right.
We always say it's a tough place to sit. You know, because it's always a chance for somebody to come down and fall right on top of you. That would not feel good for her.
Gilliam misses the second free throw. The rebound grabbed by Shrimp. So here are the Blazers now with possession and a chance to tie or take the lead. And they go to the money man. Smith across the middle, jammed to Wallace. He's been quiet until now. A soft touch, rattling in the cylinder, tying it at 61 all. The Jazz held a 9-point lead. Isley will circle back outside. Now the crowd is into the game for the first time tonight.
Well, they finally woke up.
Well, they got back.
Giving them a chance, giving them a reason to cheer.
Here's a nice pass inside of Malone. Malone working his way to the cylinder and foul. Malone shoots two. About to say, Reggie, most of the fans have found their way back from the George W. Bush rally downtown Portland. He showed up at the hotel today. Our hotel.
I thought that
we were lucky to get out of there.
No, I thought that security was for you. I found out that he was in town.
Here's Malone. Stepping up for two. Malone with 17 points. So it comes down to the fourth quarter, and it's fitting. Good, close game. Malone with 9 boards to go with his 18 points. Poised for the second free throw. 14.5 left here in this third quarter in game 5. with the Blazers leading 3 games to 1. Here come the Blazers. Across midcourt and a quick whistle. And this one's on Isley. He got caught up with Smith. 4th foul on Howard Isley.
Steve Smith very good at locking in the arm and flailing. Using one of the Jazz old moves on them.
Smith has been outstanding from the free throw line, as we've told you, 6 of 7 this evening. And it's come in 25 of 28, but misses this one. Smith in his playoff career averaging 19.5 points per ball game. And Reggie, I'm getting the feeling that he'll be the man that sees a lot of the leather in the 4th quarter play.
Well, he's got the most distinct advantage out on the floor with his size and his ability to score.
Missed both free throws. The tip out by Grant. Smith after, but stepped on the sideline. Smith is an 83% free throw shooter in his career in the playoffs as well, but misses 2 here. Malone gives a signal as he brings the ball inbounds. Here comes Isley. One shot with 5 to let it fly. The 3 rimming off. Deflected by Wallace. Spiked out of bounds, and that ends the 3rd quarter. So we roll to the 4th period. Do the Blazers have what it takes to put the Utah Jazz away? Leading 3 games to 1. They are down 2, heading to the 4th quarter at home. Let's take a look now at tonight's budget rent-a-car fast break. Fast break points, Portland 12, Utah 6. Field goal percentage, Portland 43, Utah 40%. Bench scoring, Utah 8 and Portland just 5 points off the bench. Free throw shooting, the Blazers at home are 10 of 15, while the Utah Jazz have hit 15 of 21. So a 2-point lead for the Utah Jazz heading into the 4th quarter, playing for their playoff lives.
When you look at what the Jazz have done tonight, they have put themselves exactly where they want to be in this pivotal basketball game tonight. A chance to win it in the 4th quarter. And you know, when it comes down to 5-minute marks, the Jazz are very tough to deal with because they execute so well in crunch time. They're not going to change their game. And Portland, not a great executing team down the stretch of ball games.
Utah's average is 13 points in the 4th quarter of the series. But keep in mind, here's Stockton driving into the lane, missing. In game 4, they scored just 14 in the 4th quarter, but won the game by 3.
And you have to remember this also, that Rasheed Wallace not in the game right now. Got a bruised quad, and that could be a big thing down the stretch when they look for their go-to guy.
Well, Wallace in the series has been their 2nd leading scorer at nearly 15 a game. Grant is stripped of the ball. 14 turnovers on the Blazers. Utah will bring it up with Armin Gilliam, Quincy Lewis, the rookie, Karl Malone, Howard Isley, and John Stockton.
Karl Malone's been very quiet this game. If he's going to turn it up, it's now.
Here's Anthony across midcourt, off the miss from Gilliam. Pippen has the mismatch. Isley, Stockton showing double team. Pippen says, Anthony, get on the weak side and take Stockton with you. They throw cross court. Anthony touch pass to Shrimp, driving to the baseline, and a foul called by Hugh Hollins down on the inline. And it's against Utah's Gilliam. Coming up next, an exciting game 5. The Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. 2 great players, Jason Kidd and Shaquille O'Neal. And what a great series Penny Hardaway's had. Here's Stockton now. Another Blazer turnover. 10.5 minutes remaining. Utah by 2.
Oh, the slip.
Here's Malone in. He couldn't finish, but Gilliam from the opposite side breaks through defense and lays it in. 4-point lead for Utah with 10:20 to go. Memphis pursued by Lewis out beyond the 3 ring. 14 to shoot.
Look how far Gilliam. Oh, man.
Sabonis trying to fend off Gilliam. Gilliam got up and under the arm, and a foul on Armin.
Another slip by Stockton. Malone right there. Follow Armin on the big one. As Scottie Pippen turns to give help, he forgets to lay a body on Armin Gilliam.
2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter, and another whistle. 68 free throws attempted between the two teams and 17 fouls in game 4. And a total of 35 free throw attempts tonight and 39 fouls in this one. It plays into the hands of the Utah Jazz. Slowing the game, as Reggie mentioned, shrinking the floor, stopping the clock, and the Blazers unable to get into any kind of rhythm. Isley deflects it into backcourt. Pippen will go to get it. They have 3 to shoot. Sabonis will. Grant with a follow. And a loose ball foul on Utah. 65-61, Utah by 4, 9:50 to play in the game. And what an outstanding job Penny Hardaway has done to integrate himself into that system there in Phoenix. And of course, hats off to the entire organization there in Phoenix, with Danny Ainge, of course, resigning, and then Scott Skiles taking over. Tom Gugliotta with a near-death experience on the bus. The loss of Gugliotta for the year with a horrible injury, a kid going down.
Rex Chapman.
Sean Marion. I mean, all the injuries that team suffered, still hanging on the way they did and prevailing. And down 3 games to 1 to the Lakers. The Jazz are down 3 games to 1 to the Portland Trail Blazers. And the Jazz are not going to go away with a whimper. They are up 4. Here's Shrimp with a tough shot. Pippen the rebound. Spiked away. Loose ball. Tapped out of bounds. It'll be Utah ball with 9.5 minutes remaining.
Still getting no production out of their bench. Only 5 points off the bench for the Blazers. And Utah getting 10 points off their bench right now.
Stockton draws a double team. Sabonis rotating out with Anthony. Now Sabonis recovers. Now he doubles Malone. Sabonis really getting some work. Malone one-on-one on Grant. 3 to shoot, and he drops down a tough jump shot. Karl Malone with 21 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Malone wants to send this back to Salt Lake City for game 6. And right now the Jazz by 6. And the Blazers in no kind of flow.
They're taking the flow right out of the game. Look at the offense. They can't get anything on the low blocks, where they dominated the inside game through the other games in this series.
And the Jazz are winning the loose ball scrambles.
The intangible is so important in basketball. The things that don't show up in the stat sheet. And of course, when you got a guy like Malone that can come out with the stomach virus and give you quiet, big numbers like this, it's amazing.
Malone held the ball as Stockton gave it to him, and then Stockton cuts off the post. Stockton and Anthony collide in the paint.
So when you call the play simultaneously, the whistle and the shot goes up. They have to talk about, was it at the same time? Right here, as you watch the cut and the contact, look at the shot by Malone. The whistle, the shot, did it happen at the same time? If it does, they call the foul and maybe get 1 shot or the ball out of bounds on the side.
Hugh Hollins is conferring with Bennett Salvatore. And it looks like the Jazz will have the ball out of bounds. Well, the crowd wanted a technical foul on John Stockton.
Well, here's the thing. Like we said, they've done a perfect game plan by not letting this crowd get into the game, giving them nothing to cheer about. Now is not the time to get on the ref's back.
Stockton isolated on Anthony. Drives, draws, swings it across the baseline to Hornacek. The extra pass from Polynice, leaving Malone all alone. Missed the jumper, but that was a beautifully executed inbound play.
A good ball movement, Jerry Sloan.
Pippen with a dime inside to Shrimp for the reverse. What a pass by Pippen to Shrimp to pull the Blazers to within 4, Reggie.
The slow, low skip to Malou down the lane. That makes everybody on the seats come up and cheer.
4 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. The crowd chanting defense at the Rose Garden. Russell with 8 to shoot, left side to Stockton. The pass intercepted by Grant. Pippen is one-on-one with Hornacek. Grant coming to trail. Again, an excellent pass thrown by Pippen. And Grant finishes with a 2-hand jam. The Blazers are back within 2.
Stockton throwing the ball away with no pressure whatsoever. No reason for that type of turnover from John Stockton. In this series, he's averaging 8 assists a game, but he's also averaging 3 turnovers.
Malone again slips the pick, rumbles into the lane, and knocks Sabonis down to the front row. Malone scores, and the Jazz by 4.
And all of a sudden you see this tempo and this emotion of the game go from a 0 to 100 over the last minute and a half.
Shrimp outside, cloaked by Russell. Feathers it low. Sabonis going to work. Double teamed off balance. Hook is good for Arvydas Sabonis. 2-point Jazz lead. 7 minutes left in the ball game. Stockton drifting into front court, out in front of his own bench. Again, they bring Sabonis out to double team. He got in Anthony's way. Stockton to Russell into the lane. Upended by Sabonis. A foul called on Arvydas. Wait a minute.
Waved off. Hollins.
The foul is going to be called on Brian Russell. So the Blazers take the ball back, trailing by 2 with 6:45 left in the game. So a charge called on Russell gives Portland the basketball, down 2 with 6:45 remaining in the game. They have Anthony and Schrempf on the floor with Grant, Pippen, and Sabonis. Wallace is still on the bench. He's had a tough game and has had a bruised quad suffered in the first half. Schrempf at the point, covered by Russell. And being knocked to the floor is Greg Anthony. A whistle and a foul called. Against the Jazz, Anthony to shoot 2 now. And now the Blazers go to the line from here on out at the 6:35 mark. A chance now for Portland to tie the game with Greg Anthony at the line. Coming up next on TNT, Game 5 between the Suns and the Lakers. The Lakers trying to close out the series as they lead it 3-1. Likewise, the Blazers here tonight at home, and Anthony knocks down the free throw. Greg Anthony out of UNLV. Played for one of the assistant coaches on the Portland bench, Tim Gergerich, who was a longtime assistant there, and he has tied the game at 69-69. And Greg Anthony this evening scoring his first points of the ball game. Big ones to tie it at 69 all. Utah sets up. A whistle and a foul call outside. This one goes against the Blazers.
As the Portland bench production has come up, their game has come up. Now the bench scoring is 11 for Portland Trail Blazers.
That's just the 3rd team foul on the Blazers. And Utah's already over the limit. 12 to shoot now.
Portland's defense much more aggressive in this last 6 minutes.
Malone is doubled, leaving Russell open on the opposite point. That was deep in the well, but bounces out. Malone is there to tap it up and in. Outstanding play by the mailman. 71-69, Utah by a deuce. Well, he followed the trajectory of that shot beautifully after giving it up to Russell. Schrempf enters to Sabonis. Doubled outside to Schrempf. Touch pass back to Arvydas. He glances at the clock. 5 to shoot across the middle to tie. He answers. What a great shot. He knew what he was doing all the time. Sabonis with 8 points. And Wallace beaten by Malone. Fouls him on the floor. Pippen is down and on the floor down to the opposite end in front of his own bench. Third foul on Wallace. Pippen remains on the floor being attended to by Jay Jensen, the trainer of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Sabonis and Pippen collide in the lane. Nothing Pippen can do about that because he was blindsided by his own man.
Sabonis listed at 300 pounds, and the concern shows in the face of the crowd here at the Rose Garden for Scottie Pippen, who walks off under his own power over to the Blazer bench. And he's just wondering what happened. What truck hit me, he says. Did you get the license plate number? 71-71 count. 5.5 minutes to go in the game, and the Jazz have possession of the leather.
And that was a tough timeout also, because now the Blazers only have 2 timeouts left.
Russell flattens Shrimp and lays in a fall-away banker. Russell with a nice take to the glass. 14 points for Russell. 2-point lead, 5:10 left. Jazz on top. Wallace enters to Sabonis again. They work the left block, Reggie.
They had not got much off of that left block early in the game. The last couple of times down, Sabonis taking it on himself to go one-on-one to make some things happen. The jump hook shot, and now the free throws.
Let's send it down to D-line quickly for an update.
Well, Kevin, you saw it was definitely Scotty's neck, but the other thing was he was experiencing some numbness in that right upper arm. So we'll see. They still continue to talk to him here on the bench.
Hornacek with a foul. It's his fourth, and Sabonis to the line. Thank you, D, for the report. Certainly Portland's going to need him down the stretch. Scottie Pippen in this ballgame if they want to put the Jazz away. Are you a little surprised that they've gone back repeatedly to Sabonis? He misses both free throws here.
Well, he's been productive when he got it the last couple of times. I'm not surprised that they've gone to him because nobody else has been able to do anything.
2-point lead for Utah with possession. Malone being pushed out by Wallace. Now Malone will back in. He falls away, lost the handle, tried to save it, but right to Arvidas. Ahead to Damon Stoudemire to Shrimp. Cuts into the lane to the glass for the tie. Blew the land. Rebound deflected and Stockton there to save it. Again, the Jazz win the loose ball scramble. Jazz by 2 with 4:21 left. Polynice juggles the ball out of bounds, and the Blazers catch a break.
Give me a break. Stonehands catch the ball.
2-point lead for the Utah Jazz with 4:19 left, and the crowd on their feet for Scottie Pippen as he comes back into the contest. So here are the Blazers now with a chance to tie or take the lead. 4:13 left. Pippen. Checked by Russell. Smith trying to get open. He can't.
Same play that you were talking about. The curl off with Smith going into Sabonis, making things happen. They're looking for the double team, so the offense opens up.
Stoudemire with a nice drive. The draw, the dish. Wallace from the baseline, in and out. Russell deflects the ball. Hornacek, length of the floor, pass to Malone. Blocked by Wallace, came off the rim short. Pippen with it. Wallace just did get fingertips on the ball. Wallace wants the rock, right-hand side of the lane. Cross-court pass, Pippen. This for the tie. Hornacek with a rebound. Ripped away by Smith, but it rolls right to Stockton.
First team to score.
Jazz by 2 with 3:25 left. One-on-one, Stockton isolated on Stoudemire. Malone comes over slowly, creeping over the screen. Stockton cross-court, Russell hesitates, hitches, but knocks down the jumper, and Utah has a 4-point lead with 3:10 left to play.
And that was the third option off of the pick and roll. The slip wasn't there, the curl wasn't there. Brian Russell flaring to the corner was.
Pippen with a cut off the screen, nowhere to go. Back outside to Stoudemire. 11 to shoot for the Blazers, down 4. Wallace will, elevating with 7 to shoot. Rimming off. Rebound spiked away and a loose ball foul. And this will go against the Jazz. 4th foul on Polynice. Brian Grant is back in for the Blazers, and Sabonis will depart with 2:47 left. And Utah on top by 4. Only 7 teams have ever come back to force a Game 6 after trailing 3-love. Utah could do it tonight, forcing a 6-game Thursday in Salt Lake City. Pippen. It's the first of 2.
Some poor shooting going on out on the floor right now. The Blazers missed their last 2 out of 7 shots. That's one of the reasons why they kept going to Sabonis down in the paint, because nobody can hit a shot.
That young Blazer fan having trouble sitting still, and why not? The crowd now on their feet, as once again the Blazers are within 2 at 75-73.
It's boiling down to clock management and execution down the stretch here.
Grant steps out to double team Stockton and got him with a forearm. And illegal defense is actually going to be called on Portland.
And one of the reasons why the Jazz are so tough down the stretch, because they run the pick and roll almost exclusively, and you have your two best players handling the basketball 90% of the time.
Malone again slips the pick. Wallace steps up, forcing Malone into a bad shot. Great defense by Wallace that time to anticipate the two-man play. Now Portland has a chance to tie Reggie. And they nearly volley it away. Stoudemire with a three for the lead. Grant with a rebound. Juggled. Got control. Balanced in the lane. Missed. Tapped it up and in. The Jazz says he was in too long in the paint, but the bucket counts, and they're tied at 75.
And that was an excellent play. No referee's going to call a call under those circumstances. But how many times is Polynice going to get his hands on a ball and fumble it away?
1:53 remaining. Tie ball game. Malone double. Out to Russell. Pump fakes by Pippen. Lean in. Hopper. He nailed it. Russell's had an extraordinary game with 18 points in total. 77-75. The Jazz on top by 2. Now the Blazers have an attempt. Pippen, great crossover. Smith delays off the screen. He had a wide open path to the hole, but he couldn't handle it.
It's a great defensive effort by Hornacek on that play. He changed his position just at the nick of time to cause that disruption in their offense.
Utah by 2. With possession, 1:19 to play. Pippen on Stockton. In line, it's Grant on Malone. Follow-away jumper by Malone. He hurried that one. The Blazers bring it up. Pippen across midcourt. Pippen into the lane. Falls over the stumbling body of Russell, and a foul called. It's an offensive foul on the Portland Trailblazers. It's on Brian Grant. He was trying to free up a path to the hole. He apparently knocked Russell to the floor.
Tough situation down there. A lot of body, a lot of contact. But watch Grant, left of the screen right there. The position, the push, excellent call. Great camera work.
2-point Jazz lead. A minute left in the ball game. Malone to screen high. Stockton swings it left side to Russell. Russell picks up the dribble. Malone has a step on Grant. The follow-away jumper's good. Karl Malone. 4th all-time in playoff scoring. Karl Malone with over 4,000 points in the playoffs. Dick Stockton, thank you very much. We're looking forward to your broadcast along with UB Brown. 79-75. We've got a barn burner here in the great Northwest. The Portland Trailblazers trying to put away the Utah Jazz, a proud group. Not ready to depart the stage yet, Reggie. 4-point lead, 46 and 9/10 seconds remaining to play.
Well, you go back a little bit to what Scottie Pippen said earlier about we didn't give them any confidence, but I think you did. I think you gave them some life, gave them a chance to really do what they want to do. Big win down in the Delta Center. Come out here going at it hard. And the Jazz have done exactly what they needed to do. Put themselves in position with 41 seconds to go to win this basketball game.
Wallace in deep, extends and floats a follow-away baseline jumper up and in. And the Blazers are within 2. 35 seconds left in the game, and now the crowd, every man, woman, and child at the Rose Garden on their feet. Stockton glances at the clock, 13 to shoot. About a 10-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Russell rushes to the baseline. They rotate it out, 5 to shoot. Stockton will. A badly missed 3, loose ball scramble. Pippen with a rebound, calls a timeout. Blazer timeout with 12 and 6, 10 seconds remaining to play, and a 2-point Utah lead. The Blazers have possession and presumably the last shot in regulation. It's Portland down 79-77 with possession of the basketball and 12 and 6, 10 seconds remaining to play. The Blazers don't have any timeouts left. Utah as a franchise has lost 13 consecutive games in the playoffs here in Portland, dating back to 1988. The games 1 and 2, Portland won at home by 19 and 18 points. But boy, what a difference tonight has been for Utah. Here we go, Reggie.
Well, you find out who the go-to guy is right here, and I think they have to get Rasheed Wallace the ball. He's 2 for 3 in this quarter, and he's the only one that's going to cause a double team. Scottie Pippen!
Pippen takes the early shot. It's a 3-pointer for the lead with 7 seconds remaining in the game. Scottie Pippen.
Now, guys, when you start looking at what's happening here, Scottie Pippen, you had an opportunity down low to go to Rasheed Wallace, but Brian Russell steps too far back, gives Scottie some light, and he lit him up from long range. Oh, that hurts. but we said that he had to be the guy in the beginning of the game to step up. Scottie Pippen, more aggressive offensively from the start of the game, taking it on himself to be the man down the stretch.
Pippen, who was nearly knocked unconscious about 5 minutes ago by his own teammate Arvydas Sabonis, got himself up, dusted off his trousers, went over to the bench, collected himself, came back, and has thrown a dagger at the Utah Jazz. 22 points tonight with 8 rebounds, 8 assists for Scottie Pippen. But it is not over yet. The Blazers lead is 1 with 7 3/10 seconds remaining. Utah will bring the ball inbounds in front court. Isley, Malone, Stockton, Hornacek. And this man who inbounds, Brian Russell. Russell will get it to Stockton. He turns. Covered by Anthony. Veers by Wallace to the glass. Russell blocked inside. And a whistle with 3 seconds remaining. A foul called inside. As Stockton finds his way in among a labyrinth of defenders and makes the nifty feed to Russell.
How does Stockton break this? Look at this, knifing his way through 3 defenders, getting it over to Brian Russell. That is why he's the best point guard in this game. Look at that, passing. He's one of the best making things happen. He's been that way for 13 years, not just tonight.
Pippen was there to knock the ball away from behind. He applied a hard foul on Brian Russell, who's being attended to over there by assistant trainer Jerry Clark. And the right hand apparently bothering him, but not too much. He's going to come out and shoot 2 free throws.
Look at the 3 defenders. Stockton makes the great play. Nothing but the Blazers could do about that butt foul, and that was an excellent foul. Under those circumstances, you put the weight of the game, the weight of the series on Brian Russell's back by not letting him get the free throw, the layup.
Russell is 2 of 2 from the free throw line this evening. And in the series against the Trailblazers, Russell is at 14 of 20, 70%. He's got a chance to tie with this one, short-armed it. 3 seconds left, and he short-armed the free throw. Russell now is wagging his finger here at somebody down there in the inline seats. And there's some confusion now around the free throw line. Bennett Salvatore is going to clear some photographers apparently out from beneath the buckle around the goal stanchion. Russell contending he was distracted. Now he has a chance to tie the game at 80-80 with 3 seconds remaining in the contest.
Well, if this ends up being the coup de grace for the Jazz under these circumstances, all they're going to say when he goes to the gym is that you shot it short. What's that tell you?
The Blazers have no timeouts remaining, Reggie. Here's Russell's free throw up. He missed it. Rebound. Pippen! And fouled with 1 and 7/10 seconds remaining. Brian Russell shooting 70% from the line in the series against the Blazers. Misses 2. Can you believe that? And Portland has a 1-point lead with 1 and 7/10 seconds remaining.
All I can tell you, if you've ever been standing with a building on your back, that's what he felt at the free throw line. To shoot it short is a definite sign.
Well, Russell already had the dubious distinction of being the man who was posterized, shall we say,
by Michael Jordan
in his last field goal of his career.
But he's had a great game tonight. Brian Russell is one of the reasons why the Jazz have really been in this game from start to finish here. But this man at the free throw line, in my opinion, was the knockout punch that we talked about in the beginning of the game. Came out more aggressive, had not played well in the last 3 games, but with the 6 rings, he's got to be the guy to step up under these circumstances to have a big night.
But the Jazz have timeouts remaining, and they are down 2 with Pippen at the line with 1 more. It's up, rimming off, rebound Malone, and a timeout called. So the Jazz will have something to say about this. They are down 2 with possession, 1 and 5/10 seconds remaining, and anything is possible with Stockton and Malone. There you have it. That's the story. Portland by 2, 81-79. 1 and 4/10 seconds remaining in the game. A look at Stacey Hornacek on the right, Jeff Hornacek on the left. Jeff Hornacek announced before the year started this would be his final year in the NBA. Might this be the last moments we see Hornacek on the floor active as an NBA player?
What a great career. I had the pleasure of playing against him on many occasions. What a player.
Crowd stands. The Jazz to bring it in bounds. Russell waiting. Shrimp will take a delay of game warning for the Portland Trail Blazers as they align themselves. Isley at the top. Malone, Hornacek, and Stockton. Russell to get it in bounds. Gives to Malone. Back to Russell. Off balance. Hoists the shot into the air. It falls short. And the Utah Jazz fall to the Portland Trail Blazers in Game 5 in Portland. 81-79, the final score. The Portland Trail Blazers win this one. And for Jeff Hornacek, congratulations from his friends who just happened to be his opponents tonight. Many of the Portland Trail Blazers come over to wish Jeff Hornacek the best in his future endeavors. Well, a great ball game and a game effort put up by a proud Utah club. But for the second year in a row, it's the Portland Trail Blazers who take the Utah Jazz out of the playoff picture.